I have immense pleasure in welcoming Farhan Khan, CEO at Brainchilds Communications Pakistan, which is affiliated to the Stockholm, Pakistan, to this conversation with Media for Growth. Thank you so much, Farhan, for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you, Rajiv, for having me on this interview, and I'm really excited and delighted to, share my thoughts on the questions that you will be putting forward. Yeah.
Fabulous. I think you must be really, a great frame of mind considering that Stockholm, Pakistan has really topped the charts in the agency rankings given by RECMA report.
Yeah, of course. The spirit that we have right now achieving this milestone is amazing. Actually, we celebrated since Monday. We started celebrating at our office, and every day we are, celebrating it in different ways and in different of our offices. So the feeling is really good, and at the same time, I think the challenge is bigger now. So let's see.
Absolutely fabulous. So before I get to the point about you topping the charts, Farhan, media consumption patterns have been changing quite dramatically across global markets. Now, you've been at the apex of a very, very important media group. Are you seeing any discernible changes in the media consumption patterns in Pakistan?
Yeah, Rajiv, definitely. If we look at the global media consumption habits, the way the trends are changing, it's actually similarly media consumption habits are changing in Pakistan as well. And if I tell you for last 3 years, we have seen some drastic changes, especially when it comes to digital media. Not only not only in terms of that the digital penetration is increasing in Pakistan because of the telecom data penetration for that matter, but at the same time we have the lowest smartphone prices in Pakistan. So these are two multi-layer reasons where we have such a tremendous growth in digital media. And so that's from a digital point of view. We as a nation of 220 million people, it's mainly driven by TV. So we are a TV driven media industry since long and now as well, but we have been witnessing a shift of spending and media consumption from a consumer point of view on digital. And rest of the conventional media is more or less, in kind of a very challenging position right now.
Right. Interesting, very interesting. Farhan, Stockholm, Pakistan, as I just said at the outset, has made a spectacular jump to the top of the charts as far as agency rankings are concerned, which has come out in the June 2021 RECMA report. With your industry share also actually going up quite appreciably from 25% in 2019 to 32% in 2020. So can you tell us what factors have really contributed to you topping the charts this time?
Yeah, of course. And I have if you ask me, I can talk about this full day, but since we have less time, so, I will shorten it up. So yeah, all of us know that, it was a very tough ride in 2020 because of COVID and other major events happening globally and in Pakistan as well. So our priority, if I go back February, March in 2020, when the COVID, started affecting us. So we all were going through, a lot of emotional, personal and professional stress at that time, because it was such a unique situation in front of us that nobody knew that how to, how we would be able to actually come through it. So that was a very tough time for us, and actually that is the time where we united and intact, kept our teams intact, to have less of effect of COVID on us as an organization. So, and at that time we took some serious decisions as well. So be it serious decisions in terms of we didn't lay off anyone. So that was a very tough decision. But at the same time, we did a salary cut just for 3 months to make sure that our financial position remains stable. But after 3 months, we came back with the same salary structure. So that was a very the trust level between us and the teams was really very strong, and that gave us strength in terms of moving ahead of this pandemic. Apart from that, and this paid of us very well, Rajiv, where we were able to retain 100% of our resources in that difficult time. So that's one win that I would say that that's an achievement for us. From a business point of view, our aim was, Rajiv, to first retain our clients, because it was a difficult time for all of us, not from an agency point of view, but from clients' point of view as well. So our major objective was to retain our clients. We did that 100%. And at the same time, we, again, pandemic and difficult economic situation and everything. But as we all know that, tough times come with opportunities as well. So there were like big 4 wins that we had in 2020 as new clients coming in, and that contributed to the main growth that we have shown in the RECMA report. And not only that, we didn't drop the ball here, but at the same time, we were able to increase the billing of our existing clients, mainly from a digital point of view, because you know that due to the pandemic, lockdown and everything, e-commerce has, came up really strong, and there was a rapid growth in e-commerce that we have witnessed, and we went with the same flow with our clients, existing clients, and we provided them solutions, around e-commerce and digital ecosystem. So that was one of the other main reasons. Apart from these 3 verticals that we focused on, we also managed to create new revenue streams, especially in digital and digital media. So I'll quickly tell you that what initiatives we have taken, so that you can have an idea that, that also contributed towards our growth. So we initiated in July last year a local publisher development project, where just to give you context, Rajiv, that we are like 90% international publishers dominate in Pakistan when it comes to digital media. So, and it's like 10%, very small when it comes to local publishers. So we initiated to, support them both from a business point of view, and at the same time from an infrastructure and planning at their end, how to increase their traffic on, their websites and the content that they're putting. So that paid very well in terms of, both from a commercial side and from developing the industry point of view. And then there was certain, that Pakistan is a cricket loving nation. So there was some cricket happening at PSL and some other few cricketing events that happened. So we usually go TV on these kind of big events, but this time we started having on-ground presence as well. And one would think that, it was pandemic and people were not at the stadium physically, but at the same time, it was an opportunity where we negotiated good deals. We went into on ground with those clients which were not being able to spend money, huge money on TV. So that was another revenue stream that we created. And then in Pakistan, like in global media landscape as well, PR and influencer marketing is growing very strongly, and it's the same phenomena here in Pakistan. So we started some of initiatives in terms of PR and influencer marketing, both from a planning point of view and from a infrastructure point of view. And we are working on something which I cannot share now, but soon we will be able to share those infrastructure partnerships with when it comes to influencer marketing landscape. So these are some of the areas that we focused. It was very difficult, Rajiv, because it was such a unique challenge in front of us, but we came out very well, very strong. And I believe that the team was really really came out strong, and they kept their mind focused. And I think that's the result that we have in front of us.
Marvelous, absolutely marvelous. I think you tided over the most difficult times with great initiatives, and I think that is the bedrock for you to build great growth stories in the coming years. Farhan,
Yeah.
interestingly, if I noted right, is that even your headcount went up in this period of time, which is very interesting. You mentioned about the big accounts being acquired and your team really responding to that, and your headcount actually went up, which is really a very, very strong point. Um, although we are still in the COVID situation, the world is now beginning to talk about post-COVID, and there's always been the talk about the new normal as well. So, if I were to ask you about what would be the key takeaways as you script your growth story in the post-COVID world, what are the things that you would actually look at?
Post-COVID, Rajiv, first 6 months of COVID, starting from March till around July, August, was really tough. Our ADEX, Pakistani media ADEX, went down between 15 to 20%. So, everyone was affected, not only from a media agency point of view, but broadcasters, publishers, everyone was affected. But things start picking up, Rajiv, somewhere around September, October, when the brands or the multinational companies which are our clients, or even the local brands that we work with, they realize that how to uh, go through this difficult times, be it in terms of distribution, be it in terms of shelf offtake, everywhere everything was being affected. But from September, October, we saw a comeback when it comes to both from a retail point of view and at the same time on media side as well. So Q4 last year was good, and why I'm sharing this with you is that gave us confidence that the market is coming back. Brands are now started spending, and we can see that growth coming in. So we were able to manage 2020 to close around more or less, or a slight increase versus 2019. So that gave us confidence to that we will be able to continue having that growth. Um, from a first 6 months of 2021, Rajiv, are again more giving us more confidence when it comes to brand spending and going for innovations, and even publishers and broadcasters are now getting active to come up with new content, just to balance the demand of the airtime that we as agencies are looking for. So I believe that this year will close around, I think, on an industry level, of 3 to 5% growth in the total ADEX. And again, digital is leading when it comes to growth. So we'll see that growth coming in digital, and especially e-commerce, because of the pandemic and the challenges that we had. E-commerce is growing very rapidly in Pakistan, and we are trying our best as an agency to provide all e-commerce solutions to our clients, and we are working very rigorously in terms of setting the team, setting a separate vertical and a revenue stream on e-commerce. So I believe that I see a positive 2021 and next few years, unless this pandemic becomes some new delta coming in and it affects us. I don't know that, but as far as we are concerned now, I see a positive trend in our industry.
Absolutely, Farhan. Let's just hope that we have seen the last of this pandemic, and that it'll just, it'll just move out of the whole scene. When it comes to the big fight between all the top agencies, invariably it's about the big accounts, the MNC brands per se. But if you were to really look at the growth forward, are you really going to have that reliance on the MNC brands, or do you see national and regional brands also coming in the reckoning when it comes to big account wins?
Okay, it's a very interesting question, Rajiv. And so the way Pakistani media industry is split into, if you see MNCs versus locals, it's between 40 to 50% of our ADEX is being, led by the MNCs who are present in Pakistan, and there is roughly 40 to 50% is the local companies who contribute towards the ADEX. And I think it's a very good mix, that we are not only dependent on the MNCs, but the local brands are also spending. And I see that both will be increasing their spends in the coming days, and there is there are some valid reasons behind it. But first of all, the government policies that we have seen in the last 2.5 years with the new government that we have, their policies were very positive and promising for both local and MNCs, be it in shape of custom duties, be it in shape of subsidizing on taxes. So just to name a few, we saw a tremendous growth in the last 1 year on construction industry because there were certain subsidies being given by the government. And you know that construction industry is like, the landscape is very big, from steel to cement to a lot of other things. So, and at the same time we have seen car industry booming as well because of the government subsidies and the policies that the government has offered both to local and MNCs. So that's a very positive indicator in terms of things will be positive both from a retail business point of view, and uh, also affecting us in the same manner when it comes to media investments. And just to share with you the indicators more precisely, so the 2021 fiscal year by government of Pakistan, the GDP that we achieved was 3.9%, which was at the beginning of the year, it was estimated by different international agencies as well to be between 1.5 to 2. So that is also a very big positive indicator. And the next year fiscal, which is 21-22, government has set a target of 4.8% as GDP target. So these all indicators are very promising. So I believe that we'll be in a good position. And just to answer that, what you asked regarding local companies. So just to give you a perspective, Rajiv, that the kind of growth that we are seeing when it comes to startups in Pakistan, it's huge, and it's very appreciating for all of us, be it from a business point of view, from a media point of view. Just to give you an example, there is a 30% increase in venture capitalist investment in Pakistan compared to last year's first 6 months. So this is Jan to June 2020 versus Jan to June 2021. So we have seen already a 30% increase in the startup investment, behind startup investment, and it's coming from both local and MNCs. So that gives you a very positive vibe that things are moving in the right direction. And these startups mainly, Rajiv, are spending on digital because they are small in size. They cannot go on TV because they don't have that kind of budget. They are targeting a very niche audience, so digital makes more sense for them. So these guys are also contributing towards the digital growth that I was talking about earlier. So overall, I see a very positive trend coming in, what we have achieved, and the targets being set on all fronts for the current fiscal.
Very interesting. You mentioned about the very, very positive economic indicators, the startup environment that's really picking up, as well as the e-commerce business that is doing so well. And digital media is easily one of the fastest growing media channels here. Farhan, I've got a particular question in regard to out-of-home advertising, an area where we tend to focus a lot in our publications. I would like to have your perspective on, what would be the growth prospects for a medium like out of home or even digital out of home in Pakistan in the context of the emerging media consumption patterns and media channels that are actually becoming the preferred routes for advertisers?
It's again an interesting question because we are going through a very tough time when it comes to outdoor. So let me give you a context and a perspective for you to understand the Pakistani landscape when it comes to outdoor. So like I said before, Rajiv, we are a TV-driven nation right now. 65 to between 70% of our media spend goes behind TV. So, and it's a 220 million population. So we are mainly a TV-driven nation. But at the same time, like I've told you, that digital media is also growing. When it comes to outdoor, pandemic has really impacted outdoor last year because of the lockdowns and everything. So, people were not going out, so nobody was investing. And we saw around a 40% decline in ADEX spend on outdoor only 2019 versus 2020. So that's a big drop, and the kind of pre-investments that are being done when it comes to outdoor, because you need all the vendors book in advance with different
Yes.
entities to have that in kind of an inventory. So it was a big impact. Um, we also see Pakistani consumers, consuming media, and this is what I always tell my team as well, that right now globally and in Pakistan as well, we are consuming 26 hours of media in a 24 hours day, because we are multitasking, so we are watching TV and we are on our phone. We are in our car and at the same time we are on our phone. So in this dynamics of having challenges on outdoor because of pandemic and the kind of media consumption habits changing, I see outdoor kind of struggling in terms of managing their or sustaining their position in the market. And just to highlight a few more points on outdoor specifically, Rajiv, that there were certain government policies when it comes to outdoor, where government tried to make it from an infrastructure point of view, make it more organized, so which resulted in less number of sites on the streets versus before. So this is one impact, and because of that the prices went up, because there was less inventory available, advertisers wanted to invest, so the prices went up. When prices went up, there were like a certain number of advertisers who were not being able to to afford going on outdoor. So it's kind of a difficult times the outdoor industry has been facing. I believe moving forward they will be able to come back a bit compared to last year, and not I'm foreseeing that this year will not be a 40% drop, but coming back to the same level that they were on in 2019, I see it's difficult. And you touch based on digital outdoor as well.
Yes.
So Rajiv, I'm sure that you will relate it to India as well, that from an infrastructure point of view, our countries are not that ready when it comes to digital outdoor, be it from a weather point of view, be it from an infrastructure point of view, the way our streets are being laid off and all that. So digital outdoor, yes, it's an opportunity area for vendors to invest in, but at the same time, the infrastructure is not allowing them to, really go and invest behind it. But I believe that if the digital outdoor, comes up well in terms of offering formats, in terms of indoor formats, like for example within malls or these kind of public areas, then I believe that the gap will be a bit quicker, that we'll be able to close the gap that we lost in 2020. So this is just very briefly to tell you that how outdoor is right now in Pakistan.
All right. Farhan, when it comes to digital out of home, do you think that programmatic solutions would actually make it interesting for advertisers to participate much more in digital out of home, which need not be necessary in the outdoor environment, but in the controlled environments like the transit space or malls, cineplexes, etc.?
Okay. So a very interesting and a very relevant question for us, at least, and why I'll tell you now. Yes, you are spot on that apart from placing a digital outdoor on streets, if we can go in malls and these kind of public areas, they exist right now, but not in the number that we want to be, because we have a very big population. And when it comes to programmatic, Rajiv, we are testing, and this is something new, and the first time that I'm telling to anyone, that we are planning to, or in the phase of testing a programmatic outdoor campaign on digital outdoor in Pakistan. So we are working on it from an infrastructure point of view. And yes, it's possible. And yes, it will be, can be easily offered to clients. But the challenge again is that how, just to meet all the ends when it comes to digital vendors and us and the client. But we are already working on it, and soon we'll be able to kickstart on this. It's a small scale right now, but at least we'll be able to test it and see the results.
Great to hear that, Farhan. My final question, you're at number 1 right now in terms of the agency rankings. I'm absolutely certain that you want to stay put at that position for a long time to come. What are the things that you're planning to so that Brainchild Communications remains at the very top, or that is Starcom Pakistan remains number 1?
from number 2 to become number 1 is challenging, but at the same time to remain on number 1 is more challenging than anything else. So yes, we the spirits are really high. We have a very motivated team and very young team, Rajiv. The average age at Brainchild is 26, 27. So we have a very young and energetic team. My personal belief, Rajiv, for an agency evolution or to stay on the top is mainly on 3 pillars. One is our people, which are resources, because we are in a service industry, so it's our biggest strength, and rest 2 are data and technology. So I believe these 3 pillars are very critical, and these are the pillars where we need to focus, and we have been focusing on it. And this is a game changer for any agency if they focus on these 3 pillars. This has kept us ahead of the industry in the past, since we started in this business, and we will continue investing, Rajiv, both time, money, and efforts on this to make sure that these 3 key pillars keep us intact. And I believe that this has been a winning formula for us for the last several years that we are in this business, and we will keep on focusing on that. Last point that I need to tell you as well in this context is that our forte as Brainchild and Starcom, since the inception of like 27 years back, was our thought leadership in the Pakistani media industry. And that's our key when it comes to success. So see, becoming number 1 from a volume point of view, yes, it's rewarding, and it's nice to have the acknowledgement. But we believe that if you are ahead of the industry, if you have that kind of thought leadership with you within the team, then I think that's the game winner. And we strongly believe that we had that, not only for us from a business point of view, but enriching the media industry in Pakistan. And we are very closely working with the media owners in Pakistan to further enhance and grow this media industry in Pakistan. So I believe that we will continue doing that. The only change due to pandemic and the way like you said, new normal, the way things have changed, 2 things are very important for someone, or especially for an agency to sustain, is agility and innovation. So with the thought leadership in place, with the 3 key pillars of people, data, and technology, I believe that we just need to be agile and innovative to keep the ball rolling and stay on the top, which we have achieved both from a volume point of view and from a thought leadership point of view.
Absolutely well said, Farhan. To be agile, to be innovative, to be the thought leader for the industry, and built on the 3 pillars of people, data, and technology. I think you've got all of the pieces coming together very beautifully, Farhan. Let me wish you and your team every success through this year. And it's been an absolute delight having this conversation with you, Farhan. I really look forward to many more opportunities like this. So thank you very much for being with Media for Growth.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.